West, owner of Fight Time Fitness. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, Kempo. I've trained several years with Carlos Machado for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I train now with Eddie Bravo. I'm purple belt under Eddie Bravo's 10-planet system. We've had the pleasure to train with Sean Shirk, Saxon Janjura. We have in our gym pro fighters, amateur fighters, grapplers. We promote pro fights as well.
And I mean, with that kind of background, you've probably been hit a few times in your life?
Yeah, plenty of times, plenty of times.
How can you compare maybe strikes that you felt before, especially to the torso, with some of the stuff you experienced with Val today?
You know, the heaviness of the punches, I guess they call it the ballistic approach to it, was really an eye-opener. The videos I saw online don't do his justice in real life. It's just something different you never felt before. And
there's a lot of videos out there, and people watch those videos and they see these strikes. They think there's no way they could possibly hurt or deliver that much power. What would you say to those people now that you've been on the receiving end?
Hey, I was the same guy. I've seen the videos myself, and I was too a little bit skeptical about the power and what happens, but actually feeling it makes you a believer. The heaviness, the distance, the joint locks, the throws, it's just the control. It's just heavy and solid. There's nowhere to move. It's just it's amazing. It's amazing.
And when we were in between scenes and we were taking some breaks, you said that you were kind of getting frustrated when you were grappling with Val because of the way there's no rhythm to respond to. And how would you describe that experience?
Right. With fighting, there's angle, there's movement, there's timing issues, there's setups and cues you work off of. He doesn't give you anything. It's almost like a natural awkwardness to his techniques. There is no feigning. It's just different. It's a whole different approach. I didn't know what to do to him.
Would you say it's a little bit intimidating at some point?
Oh, it's very intimidating. Taking him down, I wasn't sure when to go. He doesn't give you the typical angles you want to work from.
So, Tyler, after working with Val today, can you describe, first of all, for us, what it's like to be hit, in the solar plexus with Ballistic Strike?
Okay, well, apart from like just a traditional strike, whether it be like, with martial arts or like a blunt force, like sports-related strike, it's really concentrated in that one area, whereas when Val delivered like the ballistic strike to the solar plexus or chest or like lower abdomen, it transferred in whatever direction he was driving through. So if he delivered a shot to my solar plexus, it transferred into my abdomen, and I felt kind of like almost like a vibrate or rattle inside. It stunned everything, as opposed to just impacting on the surface. Yeah, I noticed myself whenever he was showing me things, almost flinching before he even delivered a strike, just because the first one or two times that he's showing you a maneuver or a strike, it rattles your frame of mind, and so you don't really know what to do next. You kind of try to find yourself trying to anticipate where it's going to come from and kind of getting off kilter a little bit.
And Val kind of seems it doesn't have a rhythm. He seems very relaxed. Is that frustrating when you're trying to grapple with him? Or?
Yeah, especially in football where they pound into your head one particular way to move and one particular way to deal with a threat or an obstacle in your way. Whereas if that threat is just bouncing around all over the place, you really don't have, any time to think about where to anticipate it coming from, what to do next. And before you know it, it seems like he's rapping you on the chin or neck slapping you or kicking you in the leg or the thigh. So I just found it harder to, it almost demoralizes you to a point where you don't really want to, fight anymore. You don't even want to spar anymore. You just kind of want to take a step back.
And then when you guys were grappling around on the ground, you probably have about a 50-pound advantage over Val with weight, a little bit of height. When you're wrestling him on the ground, you think it's the one place where you have to be tense and he stays loose. Is that frustrating?
Well, you almost get lured into a false sense of security because when I initially went on the ground with him, I was on a top mount. I had both of his arms pinned down, and you can kind of get into a false sense of security until he kind of wriggles out of it, and you're all the while clenching up, expending all your energy, trying to catch him, trying to maintain a hold on him. And it's like Val described, like trying to hold a wet rag doll, and you really can't maintain any kind of positive grip or influence his direction at all. You're really just kind of left completely blowing your steam out, and all the while he has all his energy because he hasn't really been, using strength as much as he has just body position and movement.
So I'm here now with Tony Melton. Tony is an MMA fighter. Tony, tell us a little bit about your background and why you're here today.
Yes, sir. I've been boxing off and on for about 12 years now. I just started the MMA thing a few years ago. Did the jiu-jitsu and the Muay Thai. I come today to help the guys with the training, to put on the show.
And you actually compete, right? So you've been competing in MMA recently. How's that going for you?
Yes, sir. I'm 7-0 with 5 knockouts, or actually 6 knockouts in the MMA game. Basically, what I learned today is I'm already a power puncher. I just learned how to make my punching more powerful than what they were before. I thought I was pretty good at it. And
climbing into that octagon, both to train and to compete, you've probably been knocked around quite a bit, hit a lot of it. You've probably taken a lot of really powerful punches from a lot of people. How does, any good fighter is going to be a strong puncher. But what's the difference to you in the impact, the way it feels when you're hit with a ballistic strike by Val?
It feels like it covers more area to me than what it getting hit by a regular punch. And when you get hit by a regular punch, I don't know. To me, it doesn't like hurt, I guess, in a way. But like when he was hitting me in the solar plexus, that hurt. Even with a jab, he hit me with a jab in the solar plexus, and it hurt. I've never been hit with a jab, and it's hurt me, in a way. It's weird, odd to me.
How would you describe dealing with him, like when you're grappling around with him, moving with him, he's staying in that relaxed state? Does it maybe get frustrating, or does he try to tire you out with, not so much just physically tire you out, even though that can happen too, but is there a patience factor there that eventually he's waiting for you to make a mistake? Or?
To me, it's frustrating because he's like relaxed in a way. He's not trying to engage me. He's wanting me to engage him to, I guess, to see how I react and see what he can do to take me down or take an advantage of me is what it feels like to me.
And last year, you said you've taken a lot of shots. You can usually absorb them pretty well. There's some, a tremendous amount of great instructors out there, Val among them, that teach this type of striking. And people watch these people get hit with these strikes and see the reaction, and they look so gentle, really, because they're short movements and what have you. To those people out there that say that these strikes can't possibly have that type of delivery, what would you say to them?
To me, I'd say it's bullshit, because to me personally, I thought the same thing. I watched it on YouTube, and so I thought the exact same thing. Until you actually get out here and do it and feel it, your perspective would be totally different than what for me it is anyways,
Hi, Jack here again with another post-show interview, this time with Brian Black of ITS Tactical. Brian, can you tell us a little bit about ITS Tactical and a little bit about your background?
Sure. ITS Tactical is a website where we do skill set information, tactical gear reviews, do-it-yourself things that you can do to keep up and stay better on the tactical side of life. My background personally is with the Navy. I was in the Special Operations program, although I did not graduate. I still bring a lot to the table in terms of being able to demonstrate techniques and tools that are primarily military related. And also, we have a bunch of guys that are still active duty members that help contribute to ITS Tactical as well.
Very cool. We appreciate you being here with us today for the making of Ballistic Strikes. We had you do a couple different things. One of the things we first had you do was take a few strikes from Val. Could you describe the difference between being hit with a ballistic strike versus a conventional strike?
Sure. Conventional strikes, while painful, do not deliver the deep impact that ballistic strikes do. I speak from experience. I've definitely gotten hit a few times, and Val strikes are definitely penetrating deep and hurt a lot more.
And you also have a lot of experience with weapons and dealing with weapons both for armed and unarmed combat. The weapon disarming techniques that you did with Val today, how effective would you say they were?
They were very effective, extremely effective. Even from the position of someone being trained with weapons, having to negotiate those and draw down on somebody that obviously has experience that Val does, those strikes, I mean, the techniques that he uses definitely are good to take away weapons.
And on the striking itself, we've had some people question exactly how powerful they are. They think they're too short. They don't look like they have proper shoulder form at all. What would you say to someone that would tell you, hey, those strikes can't possibly really hurt that bad?
Find someone that knows Systema and get hit by them. The ballistic striking definitely spreads and disperses throughout the body versus a traditional punch.